I am making a cake. What kind of cake? Chocolate cake. Got all my ingredients here in front of me. Flour, sugar, baking soda, baking powder, salt, and the star of the show, some chocolate. I'm gonna get all these dry ingredients mixed in together. Whisk them up, make sure they're incorporated pretty well. And then I'm gonna put my cocoa in there. The cocoa I'm gonna sift because you don't want a lumpy cake. Nobody wants to get a lump of mix in their cake. So got that mixed up. Now I can start to sift in my chocolate. I'm gonna dump all this. And then requires a little bit of patience. I'm not very patient, so I'm getting a little lesson today. And just how to be patient. My wife and daughters, they always bake. And I'm always the beneficiary. Well, today, flipping the script, I'm gonna be the one doing the baking, and my wife and daughters, they can be happy. And I got some milk over here that I need to keep an eye on because I'm gonna incorporate that into everything. So you see me kind of multitasking, that's what it is. A lot slower than I would like, but baking is a science. You gotta, just make it do what it do. So I'm still sifting chocolate. And I can see all these little lumps in this chocolate. It's funny, you would think that the semi-sweet cocoa powder would just all be powder, and it's not. If that's what I gotta do to not have lumps in my cake, then that's what I gotta do. Almost done with this. A few more. Come on, get you all out of there. All right, done. So I'll whisk all this together. Once again, you're whisking to make sure everything's incorporated. You want to make sure you don't have lumps. Nobody wants a lumpy cake. That's almost like having lumps in your pancakes or other things you might bake. It's a good looking mixture here. Now, I got wet ingredients. I got eggs, I got oil and vanilla extract. All that is gonna go into a separate bowl together. My eggs. Vanilla extract. And oil. How much oil I got there? 3/4 of a cup. I'm gonna reuse my whisk. It's clean, so I'll go in the same place, but you don't want to have stuff floating in your wet ingredients. And I'm just gonna get my whisk on, break this egg yolk up, get them all incorporated. And then it can go in my big bowl to dry. Some people make a mess when they whisk. I'm not one of them. Try to be a little gentle. Otherwise, you're slapping stuff all over the walls and got a lot more area to clean up. That's not so good. All right. Look like I got a little bit of a meringue here. Hope I didn't overmix. Wet with dry, and then we'll spatula them together. Right there in the middle. Get all those ingredients out of there. And start to fold in and just get it all incorporated. Turn your bowl. Just keep making sure that you get to the bottom of your bowl. Make sure there's nothing sticking on the bottom because you need everything mixed up. This is going to be kind of pasty. It's gonna look like brownie mix almost. And then we're gonna add this milk in. And then everything will go into a pan I got prepared. Pan, just got a little bit of oil in it, parchment paper. So it's ready. This is supposed to be a really simple cake. Not a whole lot of hoops. You notice things are starting to tighten up a little bit here. And it looks like a brownie. I like brownies, but I like chocolate cake better. So, here's my chocolate cake mix. I'm gonna pour in this milk that was warmed, not boiled, just warmed, just to get everything nice and creamy and velvety. So I'm gonna do a little bit of this at a time. This will all start to loosen up. I know it's a little weird seeing me bake a cake. Usually I'm talking to you about steaks and ribs and pork butts and briskets, but I'm multitasking. I can do more than one type of cooking. Got a bunch of tricks up my sleeve. Once again, I gotta make sure I'm hitting the bottom of the bowl. Get everything mixed. A little more milk. You'd be real tempted to stick your finger in this and taste test, but don't do that. Raw eggs make people sick. Almost incorporated. And the last of my milk. Wish y'all could smell how good this is. It smells fantastic. Like I said, it's very tempting to want to dip a finger in it, but I'm not gonna do that. Notice how nice and smooth this is getting? Because I didn't just dump all my milk in at once. And it helps to make sure I don't get a whole bunch of lumps. Still hitting the bottom of my bowl, making sure everything gets incorporated. And then once I do this a couple more times, it's going into the pan. Once I get it in the pan, make sure again there's no bubbles, and then to 325 degree oven that I've got preheating. All right, I think this is pretty much incorporated. So, regular 9x15 pan. In we go. Smells like chocolate. Get everything in there. Couple of shakes. Still see a couple of bubbles. They should cook out. So we'll get this in the oven, let it cook, and I'm gonna show you the finished product a little bit later. So while the cake is cooking, I needed to make my ganache. So we're gonna get a pot of water, boil. This is what's called a double boiler, where you take your chocolate chips. I got 4 ounces of chocolate chips. I got a ½ cup of heavy cream, and you get the two of these together. And you start to stir. And while you're stirring, over this double boiler, the chocolate melts. And once you get that incorporated, and it's kind of smooth, take it off, let it sit, and you'll have a nice velvety chocolate mixture. One thing you need to make sure of is that the water that you're boiling down below does not start to spit out. So you have to turn the heat down a little bit, because this is a kind of a timely process. So I'll just give you guys a sample of what I'm doing, and then we'll have to show you the finished result. A little bit thicker here, as you can see. Now we're gonna let this cool. All right, we're back. So I've got the cake out of the oven. It's gonna start to cool. I'll get it out of this pan once it's cool enough to actually put onto a wire rack. That's gonna take another 5 to 10 minutes. In the meantime, double boiler is completed. I've got the chocolate portion of the ganache. That's been cooling. Now I got some cream cheese here. I'm gonna add in some confectioner's sugar, 1/4 cup of that, some salt, and some vanilla extract. I'm gonna get this all mixed in together. Power tools, yes, I enjoy these. And if you're like me, you get stuff everywhere and it's not really what you want to do, but I'm just trying to beat all this together. And it appears everything is in my tongs, so I'm gonna have to get this out of my tongs and then start to mix in my ganache. So I've gotten most of the cream and cheese mixture out of my tongs, and I'm gonna try and get this to be a little more smoother so we can mix in that chocolate ganache. It's doing a little bit better this time. It might be because it's a little softer from getting beat. All right, tines still have some cream cheese in them. This cord is just not long enough. I need to get my ganache and start to mix this in. Once again, we don't want lumps. Mix a little bit, then mix a little bit more. And hopefully it doesn't go all over my kitchen. Really trying not to make a mess. I'm kind of good at making messes. The mess you make is the mess you gotta clean up, so I'm trying to take it easy. Me and this cable, we're gonna fight. Get everything off the sides of the bowl might help get it mixed in a little bit better. Back at it. Now, this just has to get somewhat stiff. I ain't 100% of how stiff that needs to be, but we're gonna play it by ear. Yours might come out a little bit better. I'm thinking this is looking pretty well mixed. And once that cake finally cools, I'll have my frosting. So come back in, check on me a little bit later. All right, final steps here. Cake is cooled off. Had it sitting on the rack for an hour, hour and a half. Don't really know. Got busy doing other things, but I'm ready to put my frosting on now. So I'm gonna go ahead and put all of this right here on top and then spread it around evenly. You may want to hold some back to be able to spread around on your fingers or children's fingers, but I'm just gonna get this all on here. See if I can do this evenly. I'm not worried about the sides of the cake. The sides of the cake can take care of themselves. They can stay as they are. I'm just worried about frosting on the top. Voila, it's a wrap. Supposedly this is the easiest cake recipe ever, and I have completed it. I'll have to get me a slice of cake, and then I can say thumbs up to Bon Appetit for their recipe. Have a good one.